I now invite Professor Judith Parker to deliver the occasional address. Professor Judith Parker has played a major role in the development of nursing programs, practice development and research in the university sector in Australia. She was the Foundation Professor and Head of the School of Nursing at the University of Melbourne from 1996 until March 2004, and has recently stepped down from the position of Head of the School of Nursing and Midwifery here at Victoria University. In 2001, she was included on the Victorian Honour Roll for Women, and in 2002, she was made a member of the General Division of the Order of Australia. In 2006, she was awarded an Honorary Doctor of Medicine by the University of Melbourne in recognition of her contribution to nursing scholarship. Professor Parker is currently managing a major nursing project at Victoria University. Professor Judith Parker.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Pro-Vice-Chancellors, Deans, colleagues, distinguished guests, graduates, families and friends. Dear graduates, it's such a privilege to see your bright faces here today as you're acknowledged for the hard work you've undertaken in gaining your degree. I also see the bright faces of your families and friends who've stood by you and supported you during what I know have been often gruelling times that you've endured as you've grappled with the demands of your course. I offer my congratulations to you all. The effort's been truly worthwhile, and now you stand ready to embark on an exciting professional career. Your time at VU has prepared you well for the open future that you will help to shape. In contributing to the industry in which you will exercise your professional skills, knowledge and judgment, you will play your part in shaping that industry. In the process, you will be shaping your professional identity, which will build upon the education program you've recently completed and the lessons you learn from life and work. When I was invited to deliver this address, I was asked to reflect upon my education and the people who've inspired me in my life's journey. I thought about this, and a gallery, if not a galaxy, of incredibly gifted and creative teachers and mentors formed in my mind. Which one of these should I tell you about? I thought back to the beginnings of my career as a student nurse in a hospital-based program. I had many wise and supportive teachers who carefully nurtured my professional development. But my certificate level education did not, I believe, give me the skills I needed to make sense of the many powerful experiences of sickness and suffering I had witnessed as a nurse. So as soon as I finished my nurse training, I did 2 years of night school to gain my matriculation, as it was called then, followed by an honours degree at university and a PhD. Over this time, I had many inspirational teachers, and I remember them with gratitude. But it was while I was doing my field work for my PhD that I met many amazing people who taught me so much about life as I studied their illness experiences. I completed my PhD almost 30 years ago, but my memories of those people are still incredibly strong. And I'd like to tell you about a young man called Jack, who taught me some very important life lessons. Jack was a college student who had great plans for developing his career as a professional photographer. But as he said to me once when his treatments forced him to defer his studies, life gets in the way of your plans, but it's important to have plans. I will get back to my studies when I can. I like to plan, but I can be flexible. Life is not always as you'd like it. And whenever life's got in the way of my plans, as it often has done over the last 30 years, I think of Jack and the importance of having plans, but also of being flexible and adapting to what life throws at you. Jack had long hair, as did many young men back in the 70s, and he just hated it when he began to lose his hair from the chemo. He wore a black woolen beanie that he pulled right across his head, and he used to slouch around in a very down mood. Having a bald head was not fashionable back then the way it is now. Jack was very down for quite a while, but then his hair began to grow again. One day I came to the clinic and there was Jack, bright and chirpy, wanting to tell me about his recent experiences. He said, "As soon as my hair grew back, I took off the beanie." Then he looked at me and said, "Do you really know what it's like to have the wind in your hair when you're riding your bike?" There was no bike helmet legislation back then. He went on, "I don't think people who haven't lost their hair ever think about how it feels to have the wind rushing through their hair." And he mused, "I would never have realised what a great feeling it was if I hadn't lost my hair." From Jack, I really understood how good things could come out of bad. He also taught me that while confronting other very challenging areas in your life, there is joy to be discovered in everyday activities, like riding your bike. You can imagine how we all felt a few months later when we learnt that Jack had to go through another round of chemo. We braced ourselves for his moods and how we would approach him. He was in hospital this time, and I went up to his bed to have a chat. He seemed okay, and we started talking about his approaching chemo. He really did not seem to be too concerned about losing his hair, and I was surprised, given how it had been the last time, and I asked him about it. He shrugged. "I've done it before, so I can do it again," he said. To this day, I think of Jack when I'm faced with another seemingly overwhelming job. I tell myself, "You've done it before, you can do it again." You have an exciting and open future ahead of you, full of promise, potential and opportunity as you develop your career. You've already learnt a great deal, and there are many more lessons to be learnt, perhaps through formal study and most certainly from life and work experiences. Either way, your professional identity will continue to develop if you are open to what life presents to you. Life will get in the way of your plans at times, so be flexible. Good things can come out of bad if you're open to them. And if you've done it before, you can do it again. I wish you well.